Hello and welcome to the Continue Watching live chat on our Discord. I am Seventh Ton, and joining me is Matt. Matt, say hello.
Hello.
And joining us is a very special guest, Spectro Mixer. Spectro, say hello.
Hello.
Gentlemen, I'd like to register a complaint.
I got you.
You know how, I mean, the top, this is going to be a complaint about ice cream. You've all had vanilla ice cream with strawberry swirl, right? You guys are familiar with this type of ice cream?
Yeah.
Okay. So am I. And the other day, had the urge to have some. I thought, you know what, I haven't had in a long time is vanilla ice cream with strawberry swirl. So I go to the grocery store and I look, I go to the ice cream aisle, and it's like a mile long. They've got every ice cream under the sun, every brand. And I could not find anywhere vanilla ice cream with strawberry swirl. I could find all other kind of variants on strawberry ice cream with strawberry chunks, or vanilla ice cream with strawberry chunks, or strawberry ice cream with chocolate swirl, etc., etc. But I could not find a vanilla ice cream with a strawberry swirl except one kind, and so I got it, and it was, I think the brand was Blue Ribbon, and it was one of those like massive bricks of ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like enough, like a truly a family sized thing with a handle on it, plastic jug thing with a
The
handle.
party size.
Yeah, and it was like $4. It's super cheap. Got it home, and it's garbage. It's straight garbage ice cream. It's so low quality that it's like the actual strawberry swirl part is great, but the ice cream part is trash. Like it's just not. It is not good. So for the life of me, I can't understand why somebody that makes decent quality ice cream doesn't have a vanilla ice cream with a strawberry swirl, just like we all ate growing up in the 80s or in the early 90s. Everyone
Yeah,
loved
we
it.
were all growing up in the early 80s.
Stop.
Hey.
And but why it's a classic. That is a classic type of ice cream. Why can't someone make it with an actual quality vanilla ice cream base? It baffles it baffles my mind. I can't understand it.
I feel like this is your next career. Like you should get into the ice cream business and do like retro flavors.
I think so, but it's not even a retro. I don't believe that
The
it's
retro
even.
flavor.
I don't believe that it's even
Uh,
a retro flavor. It's a classic.
According
That's
to retro,
retro.
he just called us old.
Well, he did.
Maybe you should email Blue Bunny.
We'll let it
whoever
go.
your
Yeah,
ice
they make
cream
decent ice
provider.
cream. That's all I'm asking for. I'm asking for something of a Blue Bunny quality, or maybe an Edie's quality, or a Breyer's quality. Like this is not. I mean, this is not. I'm not asking for Haagen-Dazs or Ben and Jerry's. I'm just talking about like normal, like median quality ice cream, not like this garbage stuff that's $4 for 20 pounds of it. That stuff is not good, and I don't understand it. Anyway, let's move on to the news, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so first up, we have a story here about Cowboy Bebop being canceled by Netflix after one season. Spectro, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people were kind of surprised that they actually ended up axing Cowboy Bebop. I haven't watched any of it yet. I don't know if you guys have, but the audience reaction seemed to be pretty negative in general to the show. So I think they just decided to cut their losses, and another one of their big tentpole shows is now canceled after one season.
And so this show is based off of like an anime that was around like in the late 90s when I
Mhm.
probably should have been watching it if I were into anime because that's when I was in high school. And so it's like one of those like retro, oh yeah, they brought it back, but then it totally flopped. Was any of the original creators involved with it?
All I can remember is that I think it was a woman who did the music was back. Other
Okay.
than that, it was completely American creators
Uh,
and American actors. They got John Cho to play the lead
okay,
from
so
Star Trek.
it's really a reboot reimagining. I could understand why like the diehard fans aren't going to go along with that easily, and so if the diehard fans aren't on board
Yeah,
with it, it's the kind of thing that isn't going to gain a lot of traction. I think like
and
reboots are really hard to do. Like it seems like that's a struggle, and it seems like they're good for maybe a season or two, but for the most part, these things don't live up to the original.
hmm
Um,
Spectre, did you watch it?
no, I still want to. The article actually talks about some of the other anime live action. So there was 2009 Dragon Ball Evolution, which bombed. 2017 Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah.
and
Problematic.
Death
Or
Note. I
Spider-Man.
think that was Netflix too.
Yeah, it
They
was.
did a Death Note film.
Yeah, the Death Note was a movie, and that completely flopped.
Uh, but it's kind of interesting because the other show from earlier this year was Jupiter um, Legacy, right? And they also canceled that show after one season on Netflix.
Yeah, and this was the quick hammer on this one. They didn't. I mean, it had been out for just a couple of weeks before they announced
Yeah, it was
that
like
that was
3
it.
weeks.
Yeah, I mean that's
And it
pretty.
was in the top 10 the whole time.
Yeah, I don't
No, wait,
I don't know what's
wait.
up with that.
It was in the top 10, but they canceled it?
I think the audience reaction, I guess.
Oh, interesting.
What I wonder is if, when they have when a production company signs the actors to be in these shows, they usually have an option for season 2, season 3, season 4, etc. But they have to execute on those options at some point, right? Like they have to let the cast know, okay, we're bringing you back for season 2 by a certain date, or else, the contracts expire and the actors are free to go and work on other projects. So I'm wondering if it's somehow related to that, where the date was coming up where they had to let the actors know if they were going to move forward with a season 2, and that's what forced them to make the announcement so early. Like that's really the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know. The article doesn't really say anything about
Yeah.
the reasoning.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not something they want to really make public either. Well, Spectro, you have another topic in here about live action Mega Man.
Yeah, so this came out just a few hours ago.
So tell us about that. I haven't even heard anything about it.
Yeah, so this is another thing from Netflix and I guess IGN, the gaming website, kind of reported on this. So there was some rumors going around and they confirmed it. But apparently Netflix is working with Capcom to make a live action Mega Man film. And it's in early development.
That sounds challenging. Like think about all the the Mega Man games. So Mega Man himself is like a little spaceman in a suit with a gun arm.
Yeah, he's a robot.
Yeah, and then one of the hallmarks of that game is like the little mini boss battles and all that. So are they planning on sticking with that and having a bunch, and recreating those seems like would be pretty challenging.
And why live action? Like this could be a good animated film.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, this was done 11 years ago. Like, right? Like I'm looking it up, and there's a Mega Man live action. Maybe it was released overseas, or maybe it wasn't even really released. It was like a professional company was behind it. But yeah, there's a 2010 Mega Man release, and it looks like it's the same IP. Interesting how
it's probably
they
the
just keep going back
Japanese.
to it. Like we're gonna get it right eventually.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this one will be more focused towards like American audience. So you'll probably see some big names attached to it.
Capcom still does the Resident Evil games, right? That's still their IP. I wonder if this is a sort of thing where Netflix wanted to do business with Capcom for maybe the Resident Evil TV rights or something along those lines, or maybe some other properties that Capcom has, and Capcom maybe said it's kind of a package deal where if you want the rights to these other properties, you have to also do a Mega Man live action.
Well,
I don't
we
know.
already know that they're doing a Resident Evil series.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
next
wondering.
year.
Yeah, so that's what I'm wondering, if this was all part of the same negotiation where Netflix went to Capcom and said, we'd like to do a Resident Evil TV show. And they said, that sounds cool, but also, let's do a Mega Man live action. And Netflix just said, sure, went along with it just so they could get their way with the Resident Evil.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
I'm not convinced that the Resident Evil show will be good either, but...
Well, the movies have their fans, but I don't think they've ever been too highly regarded by.
I haven't seen
people.
The new one yet.
Yeah,
the one that's in theaters.
Me either. It would be cool though. The Resident Evil games are really great. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, and don't they have someone? I forget who's playing Wesker in the show.
Oh, that I don't know.
Let me see. Oh yeah, it's the guy from The Wire, Lance Reddick.
Oh, the guy that was like the captain or the chief or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
He's
just saw
going to be
him
playing Wesker.
Yeah, he was just in something else that I was watching the other day. Can't remember. Anyway, we should probably move on. And I have two news stories here that I want to combine into one discussion. Firstly, Directv Stream, which used to be called AT&T now, and various other names. Directv Stream is increasing their prices. This is notable because Directv Stream is already the most expensive of the cable replacement streaming products.
Mm-hmm.
And they're increasing their price again for between, some plans are going up by $5 and some are going up by $10. And the one that really matters is what they call the Ultimate Plan. And that's the one that includes the regional sports networks. And that one's going up $10 a month. So at this point, if you want to subscribe to a live streaming cable replacement package, and you want a regional sports network, basically your only choice is the DirecTV Stream. And that's going to cost you $105 a month.
Whew.
So
Wow.
why? Yeah, and that is with a limited DVR. That only gets you like a 20-hour DVR, I think. And if you want more expanded DVR, I think it's maybe 200 hours, or no, I think it's unlimited for X amount of days. Like it's unlimited for 90 days or something like that. I think that's an extra $10 a month. So if you want the package, the ultimate package or the choice package that has the regional sports networks, and you want, no, it's not choice either. It's the ultimate package that has the RSN and also has the expanded DVR capacity. I mean, it's like $115 a month. I mean, why? Honestly, at that price point, I don't know why you're just not looking at cable or direct or like a satellite or something, because honestly, it's cheaper. I mean, you have with satellite TV, you have contracts and stuff. Cable generally doesn't have contracts though, but you also have to deal with their equipment and installation and all that. So there's pros and cons, but my goodness, like $115 a month is not cheap. I mean, it's up there. You know, if you were comparing DirecTV Stream with normal DirecTV, with Dish Network, with Spectrum, with Comcast, whatever, DirecTV Stream at that price point is like in the upper tier of prices, and it's just crazy. I don't know who's paying for this stuff, and it seems to me that at this point they're just gonna soak their remaining customers for these sorts of packages. Just they're gonna get every last dime out of them before they, because they are so used to having that sort of experience that they literally won't give it up until they reach a puke point, and apparently their data shows that $115 a month isn't a puke point yet. So it's crazy. But I wanted to pair that news with the news that Google, who runs the popular YouTube TV streaming service, announced today that their agreement with Disney expires on Friday, or expires at the end of business on Friday, I think. And that if they can't come to an agreement with Disney by end of day on Friday, their channels may go dark. And if they do go dark, YouTube TV is just going to lower everyone's bill by $15 a month, because they're going to lose all those channels. Now, this includes a lot of channels. So remember this. This would include ESPN and all the ESPN sister channels. This would include the ABC. This would include the Disney Channel and the Disney XD. This would include Freeform. This would include FX. This would include FXX. And this would include National Geographic. And I don't think I've left anything out. So that's like, I don't know, that's probably between 10 and 12 channels. But YouTube TV might lose that as soon as Friday. And if they do, YouTube is just saying, we're just going to lower everyone's price by $15 a month and call it a day. It's probably worth noting that about a month ago or so, the same thing happened with NBC. And YouTube said the same thing. You know, if NBC doesn't want to renew with us, that's fine, and we'll just lower everyone's bill by $15 a month, and we'll just roll with that. So it looks like they're trying the same strategy with Disney, and it'll be interesting to see which one of them blinks.
I feel like
Go ahead.
I guess like I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, okay, NBC wasn't in a great like position to fight, right? Because like they're somewhat tied into Hulu. They're still really trying to launch Peacock, but Disney owns the vast majority of Hulu, which has got to be YouTube TV's like number one competitor. And if Disney content disappears from YouTube TV, that's just going to be more subscribers for Disney's own streaming services. Like you lose ABC, ESPN, Freeform, and FX. Cool, there's the Disney bundle like right across the way. So why would YouTube discount people pretty much the exact cost of the Disney bundle? It will be like, you might as well just take the Disney bundle.
Well, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. I personally speaking, if YouTube TV drops Disney and lowers the price by $15 a month, I would be strongly tempted to subscribe to that for $50 a month, because I'm currently paying $65, $70, almost like $80 a month for Hulu Live. And I don't need, everything that I really need would be on YouTube TV. So, I mean, I would be able to watch, like I'd watch, Survivor and The Amazing Race and Jeopardy, and they have TCM. So everything that I need, or everything that I want from a live TV streaming service, I could find on YouTube TV for $50 versus what I'm paying now with Hulu, which is like $80 a month, or maybe even a little bit more than $80 a month. Now that does include, I think it's like $85. Now that does include the Hulu catalog with no ads. So if I had YouTube TV, which was $50, and then I got the Hulu with no ads, which I think is $12, that's still $62. So I'm still saving, over $20 a month. I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat, because I don't really watch any of the Disney linear channels. I used to watch the Disney Channel a lot, but they're basically letting that channel die off. There's hardly any new content on it. I don't watch anything on ABC really, and what I do, I can just watch on Hulu. I don't watch anything on ESPN. I don't really watch anything on Freeform. I don't watch anything on National Geographic. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go down the entire lineup here, but if YouTube TV was $50, it would be a much better value for me to get YouTube TV for $50 and then add Hulu with no ads for another $12, and it would save me probably almost $25 a month. I'd be happy to do it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for a lot of people, the FX like catalog is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, but a lot of
right?
it is on
Because
Hulu, right?
I guess true. Like a lot of those are on Hulu.
Yeah. Even a lot of the
But
catalog
again, like
movies are.
if you had who, I guess the question is like how much you want YouTube TV, because isn't it a lot of overlap of Hulu?
I mean, just the Disney stuff.
Okay.
I mean, so I don't. I mean, you know what's on linear TV. So if they drop, you're just gonna not have the Disney stuff, and so there's probably some overlap between, like reruns of Friends or like some like sitcom is probably on Hulu and they show reruns on TBS or something. So if that's what you mean, then I guess there's overlap that way. But I don't know. I mean, most of the overlap is going to be Disney. Most of the overlap between Hulu and YouTube TV is going to be with the Disney properties. And if YouTube TV is going to drop all those, then there would be very little overlap, really. But I mean, $50 is not nothing, though. I mean, for $50 you can get Hulu with no ads, Netflix, and still have $25 to you can get Peacock and Paramount Plus and Disney Plus. You can probably get all 5 of those for $50 a month versus just YouTube TV. I think that getting all those other streaming, those 5 that I mentioned for $50-ish a month is a much better value. But it just depends on what you want. Anyhow, let's move on to the next topic here. This is one I added, and one that got a lot of discussion on the Discord. Paramount Plus has added lots of live channels to the service. Matt and Spectro, have you had a chance to look at this at all?
I watched the Survivor channel.
Go ahead, Matt.
No, Spectro, you said that you actually watched it. I haven't seen any of it. So, Spectro, you go.
Well, I only watched Survivor, and I think they were showing the episodes in release order. So I watched a few episodes of season 1.
Yeah, so before, I've had Paramount Plus for a long time because a while, I don't know, probably 8 months ago, they did one of those subscribe for the whole year for like $45 or $50 or whatever. So I was like, sure, why not? There's got to be something, between the Star Trek stuff and the whatever other stuff on there. I'll get my money's worth, watch a few movies and whatever. So I still have it, but I haven't watched it in forever because the Star Trek stuff is a little bit less appealing to me now. And we were watching Yellowstone and we fell off of that and and whatnot. But ever since they added those live channels, like I've actually been watching it like fairly consistently since they added that about a week ago or whatever. Mainly like you, Spectro, just when I have like, half an hour, 40 minutes where I just want to zone out, before bed or, have something on in the background, I'll just throw on that Survivor channel and just let it go. But even some of the other channels are really intriguing. Like the one that kind of goes through a lot of the live action Nickelodeon content, like iCarly and whatever else they have on there. That's like great background noise for me. They have other streaming channels on there for Nickelodeon where it just kind of goes through SpongeBob, and there's another one that does other Nickelodeon animated stuff.
Greg posted all the channels in the chat.
Yeah, okay. And then there's the one with some like real world road rules challenge stuff or whatever. But yeah, it's all great. Even the Star Trek channel, like I keep thinking, you know what, I honestly should just throw that Star Trek channel on and let it go because I haven't watched any of those old Enterprise with Scott Bakula episodes in such a long time. And I remember really liking it, especially like the latter seasons of Enterprise I thought were pretty good. And I thought it got canceled like right as it was really starting to get quite good. But I think starting with season 3, it hit its stride. But at any rate,
and they have no ads.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. It's like different from Pluto, right? So because Paramount and Viacom own Pluto, which is the same concept. It's just like a big collection of live streaming channels, but Pluto has tons of ads in it, which ruins it for me. Like, I'm just 100% not interested. But with Paramount Plus, all these live streaming channels, they don't have any advertisements on it. And as soon as I saw that, I thought to myself, this is awesome. And then I thought to myself, this is kind of too good to be true, although it shouldn't be, right? Like, almost all the stuff on these streaming channels is stuff that you can watch on demand anyway, right? Like, they're streaming the first 40 seasons of Survivor on there, and all of those are available like on demand on the service. Same way with all the Star Trek stuff, same way with all the Nickelodeon stuff. So on the live streaming channels, none of that content is like partnered content, or it's not like third party content. It's all their own content. It's all Paramount owned content. So they can basically do whatever they want with it. So they can run it without ads. But it still makes me nervous because, companies like this, they really are money hungry. They're never going to miss an opportunity to squeeze another couple dollars out of something. So, which brings me to this article that was in Vulture, vulture.com. Was a whole article with the guy, his name is Ryan. Hold on a second. Tom Ryan. And Tom Ryan is Viacom CBS's president and CEO of streaming. And so Vulture did a big, long interview with him, and they touched on a lot of they touched on the live streaming channels they just added. And the Vulture interview was really good, and they actually asked him, right now these are all ad free. Do you have any plans to add advertisements into these streams? And he said, for people that pay for Paramount Plus, we're not adding ads in. But for people that don't pay for it, we may explore, adding ads in down the line somewhere. But he basically all but guaranteed that if you're paying for I can't remember what they call that tier, but it's like the tier that you pay for the content. Yeah, whatever it's called. Yeah. That if you're paying for it, then those live streaming channels should remain ad free, which I was really happy to hear.
Yeah, the essential tier is the ad tier. So
okay.
I think the other one's just called the ad free tier.
Yeah, so he was saying if you have ad free, then that carries over to the live stuff, and if you have the essential one, that they may explore putting ads in those, which I read to mean they probably will. But all I want them to say is there's no ads on the no ad version, because that tracks for me. Like, if you pay for no ads, you should have no ads. It shouldn't be like, I pay for no ads except there's ads on the streaming. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I really hope that they stick with that, because I find that this like ad-free live streaming service, is kind of what you would describe as a lean back experience, where you don't, like at the end of the day or whatever, you just want to put something on. You don't want to think too hard about, what you're going to choose to watch. Just put it on and you just kind of roll with it and watch whatever's on. And I really think there's a place for that. And anyway, I hope they stick with it. I think it's enjoyable. Okay, guys, any last thoughts on any of that before we move on? All right, let's move into the portion of the show where we talk about what we have been watching. And Ryan, why don't you start us off? What have you been watching?
Yeah, so I've got two, I guess technically three Amazon shows. But the first thing is the new season of The Expanse started.
Season 6.
Yeah, so the final season, and they're back to the weekly releases for The Expanse, and they only dropped one episode this time.
Oh,
on the first day.
How do you like it with the weekly? Would you rather see them drop them all at once, or do you like it being spaced out?
I think it's fine weekly because I'm already behind on all of my Netflix shows that drop all at once.
Yeah, really.
But we know a lot of people prefer binging.
Yeah, sure. How was the how was the first episode then? Without giving
I
any
liked
spoilers
it.
away, yeah.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the show, you obviously are going to be watching the final season. But there is one thing that's kind of frustrating. So one of the other Amazon shows I'm watching is The Wheel of Time, and for Wheel of Time and The Expanse, they both have like these bonus content that they put in the X-ray,
Yeah.
but the X-ray is not available in any app except like the Fire TV app or on the website.
Yeah, annoying.
And when you try and watch them, it doesn't have subtitles either for the bonus
Oh,
content.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so not only do I have to go onto the website to watch it, there's also no subtitles.
Yeah, I watch almost everything with subtitles. Like I just, like I have I'm a little bit hard of hearing anyway. But man, like I used to put it on at home like every once in a while for certain shows, and then it grew to I'd put it on for like more shows, and then it got to be where I put it on for most shows, and now it's on for like 99% of what I watch.
Yeah, and like the bonus stuff for The Expanse is like a scene that was cut out from each episode. So you kind of want to see that.
Yeah.
And then for Wheel of Time, it's like actual lore of the world.
Yeah, I still haven't
like
watched all that.
Little animated episodes.
I haven't watched all those, and I'm sure it's just because I have to.
Yeah.
I have to go out of my way to watch it. I just can't watch it on my Apple TV. I have to watch it on the laptop, or, I mean, at this point, that's the only. Well, I guess I could watch it like in the app, like on my iPad or.
Yeah,
whatever,
or on the phone.
Yeah, but that's not.
That's the other place it's available.
Yeah, but that's not how I watch the show. Like I watch the show on my big TV with my Apple TV hooked into it, and it just doesn't fit into my workflow, man. Like it doesn't fit into my TV consumption workflow. So what else have you been watching, Spectrum?
So the third Amazon show that I'm watching is I have Hanna season 3.
Is that good?
And this show, they decide not to do weekly releases, and they put it all up at once.
Is this the last season for that?
Yeah, so I think they just want to like get rid of it.
They're dumping it, yeah.
Yeah, but I liked season 1 a lot, and then season 2 was a little bit more like rough.
Yeah.
I think I watched 2 episodes of season 3 now, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm gonna watch the final 4 episodes.
Yeah, it's definitely a show that's been on my radar for a while, but I've just never pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, it's a good action show if you like the movie that it's based on.
Yeah, right. Probably important to point out that it's based on a film.
It's like a remake of the film.
Yeah.
Matt, but it's basically an action series about like this girl that was raised in the wilderness by her father, and she's basically an assassin.
Matt, have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
All right.
Not seen it. I mean, I've seen it advertised.
Right.
Yeah, it was one of those shows that like they advertised it so heavily when it first came out, like the Super Bowl and all that, and it just didn't catch on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And do you want to mention one other?
Yeah, so we were kind of joking about it, but we've got Hawkeye that we've been watching every week.
Yeah.
And so this is another show that comes out weekly on Disney Plus. And it is currently on episode 5. Is that right?
5 is this
episode
week.
5 comes out this week.
Okay.
The first week we got 2 episodes.
Okay. So the most recent episode was episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's only 5 episodes long?
6.
6 episodes. Okay. I knew it was on the shorter end. And so I think you guys are enjoying it. Is that right?
Yeah, I think almost everyone on the server has been enjoying the series.
You guys
everybody who's taken the time to watch it.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. Everyone's just. You guys are just trying to guilt me into watching. I see.
I mean, it's okay for you to be out of touch.
I tell myself that every morning. Trust me.
Well, if you don't like it, then we get that, other insight from someone outside of the Marvel circle.
Right.
So we can get your opinion.
All right. Well, maybe I'll get to it. I'm sure my son wouldn't mind watching it, so I have someone that I can watch it
Yeah,
with
I'm
me.
surprised
So
he didn't want to watch it.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, moving along, I will talk a little bit about what I've been watching, and I just have three things here, and two of them are movies. I watched on HBO Max. I watched King Richard, which is one of those movies that came out in the theaters and on HBO Max at the same time. This is the Will Smith vehicle that is about where Will Smith plays the father of Venus and Serena Williams, the famous tennis stars. And it's not quite a biopic, but because it starts, the movie starts when Serena and Venus are like in grade school. So you don't really see their dad's name is Richard. You don't see like Richard's story of him growing up or anything, but it's mostly about him raising his girls and um, encouraging them to pursue tennis at a high level. And it was very good. Like, it's good performances across the board. It is a little bit on the long side, so be aware of that. It's about 2.5 hours long, but a very good movie with a typical Will Smith performance, and I don't mean that as an insult. I think that he's generally pretty good in everything that he is in, and this is no exception. So that's King Richard. That's on HBO Max, and I should mention that this was a movie that it is kind of a weird angle to take. Like if you want to tell the story about Venus and Serena Williams and how they became how they started their career in tennis, it is kind of a weird lens to tell that story through by focusing on their dad. But Venus and Serena Williams really wanted it was important to them that they saw an opportunity for a big Hollywood movie to focus on the impact, a positive impact that a black father had with his kids. And they really wanted to tell that story because they felt like that's not a story that gets told enough on the big screen. And I think that was a great decision because I think he is kind of a complex character. I think that he does some stuff and acts in ways that aren't. I don't think he always makes the best choices, or he doesn't always treat people exactly in the most polite way, but I think he always has his reasons, and I think for the most part he was right in doing what, in the choices that he made for him and his family turned out to be pretty good, but not without their costs. So if you like sports movies, and if you like kind of family dramas and those sorts of movies, then this is one of the better ones. There's been a lot of these in the past 10 years or so. A lot of them were Disney movies about, sports-related movies. But this is certainly this is a cut above most of those. So, again, that's King Richard on HBO Max. The other movie I watched is called Pig, P-I-G, Pig. And this one is on Hulu. This is a movie that stars Nicolas Cage. I am not always a big fan of Nicolas Cage, but occasionally he does surprise me. And this was a film that he did surprise me in. It's a small movie. It's a low budget movie. It's about a year old, I want to say. And when it came out, it didn't get a lot of hype or press because it is kind of a small, quiet movie that has kind of a weird premise. But the more that it found an audience, the more critics and other movie enthusiasts started to notice it and to kind of promote it as being actually pretty good. This is a movie where Nicolas Cage plays a former high-profile chef in Portland, Oregon, who gets kind of tired of that lifestyle, and he moves out into the forest where he just lives in kind of a one-room cabin, and he finds truffles, like wild truffles, with the aid of his truffle sniffing pig, which is a real thing. So he has a pig that helps him sniff out the truffles, and he sells the truffles to these wholesalers for like a lot of money. Like truffles are very expensive. But he has a very like reclusive lifestyle. But then, and this is not a spoiler, and this is the most spoilery I'll get. His pig gets stolen, and so it kind of turns into a revenge movie. Not all that unlike John Wick. But unlike John Wick or other revenge movies, it's not really like a violent movie. It's more like I want to say emotional revenge, but it's not even really that. Like when you say someone's getting emotional revenge on someone, that makes it seem kind of sinister and like they're and hurtful. But I think this is just more like emotionally confrontational rather than like vengeful. So yeah, it's kind of hard to describe the vibe of the movie. You just you just kind of have to experience it to get the full, the full understanding of what's going on here. But there's a couple of plot points that are really weird, like in the first third of the movie. But once you get past that, the latter 2/3 of the movie it's really quite good. And like I said, it's not a big action movie, and there's not a lot of dialogue. But it actually is. It is quite good. It's about 90 minutes long, so it's not a big time commitment. I thought it was pretty good, and the ending of the movie, without giving anything away, I really like how they pulled it off. They could have gone in a couple of different directions with it, but I really like the direction that they did choose. So again, that's Pig, stars Nicolas Cage, and you can watch that on Hulu. Last thing I'll mention is the new HBO Max miniseries called The Landscapers. This just came out over the weekend, like I said, on HBO Max, and they just dropped the very first episode. It's about 55 minutes, and I think this is only 4 episodes long. It stars Olivia Colman, who you might know from stuff like The Crown, and she was in Fleabag, she was in The Night Manager, she was in Hot Fuzz, she was in The Lobster, she was in Murder on the Orient Express, she was in Mitchells versus the Machines. She did a voice, had a voice role in that. I don't know, man. She's just been in a ton of stuff, and she's always really good. It's Olivia Colman. And starring opposite her is Christopher Edwards, who's a name you may not recognize that name, but you will recognize him when I tell you that he played Professor Lupin in the Harry Potter movies. So again, this is called Landscapers. It's a 4-part miniseries on HBO Max. And it is a true crime miniseries that revolves around the true story of the 1998 murders in England. A murder that happened in 1998 in England. And I won't say more than that, but it's very good. Like it's, I really like David. I'm sorry, the actor's name is not Christopher Edwards. The actor's name is David Thewlis. Christopher Edwards is like the name of the character in the show. So I really like Thewlis in this. Like he was Lupin in Harry Potter, but I can't remember seeing him in much more than that. But he's really good here, and he's a really interesting character. He's got a very interesting face and a very distinctive voice, and I really enjoy watching him on screen. He's quite good. So if you like true crime and you like kind of a black comedy, like the tone of the show is more of a black comedy than anything else, like drama / black comedy. So if you're looking for something with that tone and you like kind of British miniseries and you have HBO Max, I would highly recommend it. The first episode is very good, and I will say one of the best things about the first episode is the pacing is quite good. Like was going along at a very interesting clip, and then right when it needed to put its foot on the gas and move the story forward, it does, like perfectly. And I really appreciated that about the show. And one more time, that's Landscapers on HBO Max. And that's what I've been watching. Matt, what about you?
I haven't watched too many titles because I watched Hawkeye, and I've become growingly convinced that we're going to see Kingpin or something from the Netflix Marvel movie, or sorry, Netflix Marvel series. So I've been trying to go back and revisit Daredevil, and I watched all of season 1 of Jessica Jones, which is in that same universe. Never really got into season 2 of Jessica Jones, and with Daredevil, I made it apparently through like 6 episodes, though I have a feeling they might have been playing without me actually watching them. So I'm like, I think I'm almost done with season 1. And it's good. It's like holding my interest. Like I like Daredevil just fine. My only issue with the show is really that it's just like too violent, too gory. And so
Daredevil?
I know. It's like
Is it
it's
though?
just too much. It's pretty bloody.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty bloody.
I watched it,
It's
but I
it's
have a hard time remembering. Like I don't remember them. I remember it's a lot of like hand-to-hand combat sort of stuff. Was that what you're
amount
talking
of
about?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
but there's also the hand to hand doesn't really bother me as much, and like I don't mind like right like if there's a bruise or something. But if like they're shooting people in the head occasionally in the show, and it's a little bit more than I want.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
There's
Yeah,
a certain,
and I'm
like gruesome death that I can remember.
yeah, somebody gets impaled on like a fence
Yeah.
post or something. Yeah, so all of that's just a little bit too much for me. And so I'm watching, but like half watching, but I'm such an MCU fan that now I feel obligated to watch it, and I enjoy it when I can stand to look at it. So yeah, no, I'm catching up. I'm figuring out who Kingpin is, and I'm getting ready for him to enter into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So if you like Marvel and you don't mind gore, I do. I recommend Daredevil, and I really thought Jessica Jones was a solid series, and I'm ready for them to all kind of be Disney MCU-ified, where they're a little bit less gory, and I'm totally willing to welcome all those characters in to the larger MCU proper. So that's what I've been doing. So I've been Hawkeye's really the only new thing I've seen, and other than that, I'm traveling back in time like 7 years to catch up on Daredevil.
All right, Daredevil, that is available still on Netflix, correct?
And presumably always will be.
Yeah,
because they own it.
Yep. Okay. Do any of you guys want to talk about anything coming up that you're looking forward to? I have a few things.
I'm looking forward to The Witcher on Friday.
Oh yeah, season 2. Are they dropping that all at once?
Yeah, Netflix.
Yeah. Nice. I haven't watched it. My wife watched the first season, but I did not watch any of it. On December 15th, Mr. Mayor, which is a NBC sitcom, half-hour sitcom, has a holiday special coming out that I'm looking forward to because I thought that show was really, really quite good. Has stars Ted Danson and is not Josh Gad. It's another guy that's done a bunch of voice work for Disney, for Pixar. I can't think of his name. Anybody? Oh, Bobby Moynihan. He did the voice work on DuckTales, and I think he's done something else for Disney too, voice work.
I think it was in Star Wars Resistance.
Is that right?
Maybe.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it says here that he did DuckTales, and he does some he did some voice work on Bob's Burgers and Star Wars Resistance. Yeah, you're exactly right. And the Bad Batch.
Animated show.
Yeah. Anyway, he's in a show called Mr. Mayor that on December 15th is coming back with a holiday special that I will definitely watch. And on December 16th on HBO Max, a miniseries called Station 11 comes out, and that's kind of like I'm curious to see how Station 11 does in the ratings and viewership, because it's a post-apocalyptic story that follows survivors of a devastating flu. So it's like maybe too soon, maybe.
But will we really
soon.
know any? It's a streaming show, so unless it hits Nielsen ratings, we won't really know what it does.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, we'll just see.
I mean, the reviews are pretty good from the critics. I think they saw at least one episode.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
And the reviews were really favorable.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then it was just announced that on Apple TV Plus, the show on Apple TV Plus called Servant, which is, I guess, created by M. Night Shyamalan, they announced that the next season is going to debut in January, and I think that exact date is January 21st. So January 21st, season 3 of Servant, which I recommend. I think that show is pretty good. And I don't really like horror stuff, but this is more like suspense than like actual horror. So I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to season 3. Matt, anything else coming down the pipe that you're looking forward to?
Get excited for Boba Fett. Christmas is going to be here really soon, and then we're going to get Boba Fett, and I'm ready for that.
Does that come out on Christmas Day?
I think it comes out the 26th. I think it comes out like right after.
Cool.
Which is probably smart, right? Because a lot of us are obligated to hang out with family.
Yeah.
And then so to get to watch that will be pretty exciting. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm hanging out for the Disney like marquee shows. So Book of Boba Fett's going to be exciting. And actually, I was wrong. It's not the 26th. It doesn't come out until the 29th.
Okay.
So we still have a little bit longer to go.
Either way.
Yeah.
Everything just kind of runs together there at the end of the year anyway. What's a couple of days?
I think it's the week after Hawkeye ends. So Hawkeye ends.
Yeah.
And then we have the next week, Book of Boba Fett starts. And then I believe the Book of Boba Fett leads into The Mandalorian. So
and
that'll be good too.
There's also other stuff that drops on Disney Plus around that time, right? Encanto is coming out.
That's on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or Christmas Eve, maybe.
Yeah, it's either 24th or the 25th. You're right. And the Eternals comes out
January
around that
12th,
time too. Yeah, like the second week of January. So yeah, big. That'll be a big 4 or 5 weeks for Disney Plus, with Hawkeye ending and Boba Fett starting and Encanto dropping and Eternals dropping, all within the same maybe like 3-week time period.
If we're talking about shows at the end of the month, we also have Cobra Kai on the 31st on Netflix.
Still going on?
Yeah, real. That's about to say. Are you watching that, Spectro?
Yep. They're entering so when Netflix bought the show from YouTube Red or whatever it was called, they bought seasons 1 and 2, and season 3 was already finished. So they aired that, and then now season 4 is the first season under Netflix proper.
Oh. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Season.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. Netflix believes in it enough to give it a 5th season. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that Will Smith was a producer on that.
Yeah.
On Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's one of the executive producers.
I had no idea.
Interesting.
It's a good show. I think you just have to give it a chance if you're skeptical. But if you enjoyed the films, you'll like it.
Enjoy the film. You're talking to 2 children of the 80s. We all enjoyed it.
Yeah, so it's
Come
perfect
on.
for you.
Saw it in the theater.
Oh, okay. You might be older than me. I don't think I saw it in the theater.
All right. Well, on that note, let's we're bumping right up against 1 hour here, so we should probably call it a day. Matt, thank you for joining me as usual, and Ryan, Spectro, thank you for joining us this week. Appreciated you being on. Really enjoyed it, and hope you had a good time too. For those of you who joined us live in the chat room, as always, appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you had a good time. And until next week, say goodbye, Matt. He did it again. He cut out. Spectro, say goodbye.
See you guys.
All right. Bye, everybody.